In this video, as you may have guessed, we're going to be talking about the Form 3903 moving expenses. Now, there are a number of rules surrounding the distance from your old home to your new workplace, your old home to your old workplace. That may or may not come into, I mean, if you're trying to game the system, then these come into effect. But a lot of people are moving, out of state, moving a significant number of miles away from their old place of employment or their new station or whatever the case may be. So I'm going to go through these real quick, and in this scenario, we're going to be moving a long ways. So enter the number of miles from your old home to your new workplace. Well, so that's a long way. It's 1,500 miles. Enter the number of miles from your old home to your old workplace. Well, 15 miles, real close. If an employee, check here if you did work full time in the general area of your new workplace for at least 39 weeks during the 12 months right after your move. So this is called the time test. You've got the distance test and you've got the time test. And so you've got if you're an employee or you're self-employed, um, that's there are exceptions to this. I'm not going to go into all of them, but if you become disabled, if your employer moved you for their own benefit, if you're military, there's a handful of things that would exempt you from the time test. You were discharged or laid off, other than for misconduct, those sort of deals. So enter the amount you paid for transportation and storage of household goods and personal effects. So the Mayflower moving truck pulled up, you loaded all your junk, and they moved it for you, or you threw it in a U-Haul. You had to pay for all that good stuff. Enter the total amount of employer paid for your expenses. So if they did, this amount should be shown in box 12 on your W-2 with code P. Okay, so we're trying to make it real easy in the program, giving you explanations and giving you instruction where to locate these items. Makes it should make it real simple. So we had 2 days worth of lodging, 300 bucks a night, good stuff. How much was spent on parking tolls? We had nada. Did you use your own vehicle for your moving trip? Sure did. How many miles? You can see it's dynamic content there based on your responses. So how many miles did you drive your vehicle? Because there's a standard mileage rate. I think in 2017, based on the reading I just did, it was 17 cents. So we drove a total of, I don't know, 1,800 miles. We had a couple of detours and so forth. Did your moving trip, how much did you pay for gas, oil? And so it's going to look at what your actual expenses were versus your standard mileage. Additional travel expenses, airfare, train tickets, and whatnot. Whatever, another 500 bucks. So cool. We could continue. And that is how you go through the Form 3903. Again, this is not supposed to be a tax theory tutorial on how to fill out the form appropriately based on your taxpayer circumstance. Just want you to get a feel of how to navigate the form, comfortable with the flow, and just as a high level overview of what it is and how to get there and so forth. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you have an amazing tax season, and we look forward to supporting your efforts.